Each year, our teens bear 400,000 new children. Each year, our teens get 9 million new STIs. And each year, only 39% of our students are taught how to correctly use a condom. Although we have similar sexual activity rates for our teenagers compared to those of other countries, we have some of the highest consequences for our teens. And that is why I'm urging today that we need to reform sexual education programs in the US. This is for 3 main reasons. The first, our programs are not theoretically suitable for teenagers. They don't work with the ideals of teenagers, and particularly not today's teenagers. The second, they're not actually working. When we look at statistics, they're not being successful. They're not teaching our teens how to be safe. And last, for a government-funded program, the program should be beneficial for our country. And currently, the amount of teen pregnancies are weighing greatly on our country's economics. So, as for teen tailoring, behavioral decision theory tells us that although teens, they think about what they're going to do. They think about it, they know what they're going to do. However, we've been using a tactic of scare. We've been telling our teens, don't have sex, don't have sex. It's bad, here's what's going to happen. However, teens are thinking about it, but they weigh the consequences differently than we do. They believe social capital is more important than actual safety. So while we may be telling our teens, it's risky, unless you change their perception about other teens having sex, it's not going to change their opinion. They will go with the more socially beneficial in their mind decision. It's been shown that teens will get in a car with a drunk driver for fear of the social repercussions rather than the safety repercussions. Not only that, but when you connect it to the amount of pop culture and sexualized content on television today, our teens are being bombarded with sexual content, which has been shown by a national longitudinal study for youth to have a positive correlation with teen pregnancy. Another study by the Pew Research Center shows that 66% of children and teens will admit that they feel their peers are influenced by television. 66% is a lot. So 2/3 of everybody feels their friends are being influenced by television. Not only is it theoretically improper to be teaching children in this way, teens I suppose, it's not working, it's not currently successful. John Santelli did a study, and he found in 2007 that 50% of teenagers don't use condoms at all. They just don't use them. Of those 20%, they're not using anything. This included withdrawal, rhythm method, all forms of contraceptive, which means 20% of our teenagers aren't doing anything to prevent STIs and pregnancy. If we look at schools and our current methods, only 18 states out of 50 promote non-abstinence-based learning, as in they'll teach how to use contraceptive. However, none of those 18 states are required to do so, which means that no student is actually required to know how to use a condom or to know about different contraceptive methods. Any teen can go into a drugstore and buy a condom. Any teen can go to their OBGYN and ask for birth control, but they're not, because they're not being properly informed. It's our responsibility to make sure that these teens are properly informed. Finally, we'll examine the national burden. Teenage pregnancy weighs heavily on our national economy. Not only are teens getting pregnant at such a high rate, but those teens that have those children, their children are more likely to fall into the same cycle. Only 1/3 of teenage mothers are actually going to graduate high school. 1/3. Without a high school education, most go into poverty, and with the cycle continuing, most families will continue to be on public assistance programs. Wouldn't it be more beneficial for us to start these programs and to teach them how to be safer than to have to worry about it later? We can save lives before they get into shambles. Overall, we know that these programs are not theoretically successful. They are not actually successful. Students are not using condoms, they are not using contraceptives, and we're not investing properly in our economy. If we're going to make a program to help our population, why aren't we helping our own economy at the same time? So overall, again, I urge that sexual education reform is entirely necessary in the United States. We must move away from abstinence-only programs and get into comprehensive approaches. Let's help risky behavior be a little safer.